In this video, we're going to show you how to install the roof tint on a Model 3. It is very, very similar in many of the vehicles. So let's go ahead and get started. I highly recommend getting some sort of platform so you can get to the top of the roof. We're going to go ahead and use this right here. And of course, we have our roof PPF right here. And then using the scrubby pad, you can just really try to get in there. One other recommendation is before you do this, please, high recommendation is to actually put your car inside for several hours before you start this process. The problem is it gets really, really hot. And if you try to do this immediately, what will happen is you might struggle with it more than you should have just because you did it when it was too hot. Okay, so just want to be clear about that. Then we're going to go ahead and clean this, and that is so much cleaner than it was. We're going to be doing the same thing, but on the other side, we're going to grab our cleaner. We got our slip solution in our pocket. Okay. Get all this contaminants that could be sitting on the roof, and it can be quite dirty. So I'm just kind of going 3 to 6 inches. And you could go about 12 inches. When you do a squeegee, do a 50% overlap always. And then I kind of clean the sides. And then go all the way. Okay. Now that we have everything clean, we are going to go ahead and just spray a lot of slip solution all across the board. Okay, right around here. Don't feel bad about putting a lot of slip. You'd rather want more than less. There's going to be a curvature in the front, and then it's flatter on the rear. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start rolling this film. Okay, we're going to do something called a reverse roll. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to use a squeegee and keep this edge dry, okay? The reason why we're doing it dry is because we want to actually tack to the edge because I'm doing this solo, right? So I don't have help right now. And so what you want to do is kind of get it started. All right, I'm going to go ahead and peel. And then when it's dry, it's actually going to be a little bit more tackier. And you can see it kind of grabbed. I don't know if you saw that on camera, but it grabbed some of this. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and start peeling all the way. Okay. All right, now that I have it tacked on this side, we're going to go ahead and spray more. And then I can actually go ahead and start peeling. 2 hands. You're going to peel all the way, just like that. All right, we are gonna loosen that up just so you know because it's gonna be it's too much on the ends, right? That wasn't aligning anything, if you noticed. It was strictly just so that I can reverse roll it from the other side. That was the only reason why I did this. So now I want to loosen this up. Look at that. On this side as well. All right, so you see right now, I'm actually installing the black tint. We're just going to align this. And when you stretch these things in PPF, you want to use your palm rather than kind of pulling the edges. So we're going to go ahead and align this little corner right here. Since this is a black version, it's a little harder to see. And then we're going to align this corner as well. It's going to be a little bit inside, and that's the whole point, guys. Okay. I'm pretty happy with this. There's almost no finger down the middle. And once you feel comfortable, you're going to actually go ahead and spray a lot more. Well, this is just water. and I'm flushing out, especially this channel right here, I'm flushing out all this water, okay? And that will actually help you let it stick a little bit more, okay? So when I do this, I'm just using I'm probably using 50% power in terms of just the squeegee form. And I'm holding it with this 4 fingers like this, and then you're gonna look at this alignment point right here. Now I can hold this, and I already kind of used my tack down there, and I can go ahead and start squeegeeing this edge right here. Okay, and you can see I have a little bit of an edge, and that's exactly what I want. I actually don't want it too close, or else it could fail. So I have some of the fingers right here, and this is where you can spray more tack. Be generous with this portion. And then I have a line right here now. So that's kind of what I did. I created this line right here. And now that's tacked. Okay, so now that that's tacked, let's go ahead and go to the other side. And we're gonna be doing the same thing. We're anchoring that side, all right? Let me see if I can do it without having to go on a ladder. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna just pull this to make sure everything's moving, okay? And it is. You can just pull this material all the way to this corner. Why is there a stretch? Well, if I don't have a stretch, there's gonna be a lot more fingers in the front, right? So right off the bat, I'm gonna go ahead and flush out all this water right here. Just like that. Okay, and what you want to do is you're really wanting to stretch the middle instead of stretching the edges. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this back out just a little bit, kind of doing it a little extra on purpose. And once I feel good, okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and spray some more tack, just a little bit. I gotta flush all that soap away. Just like that. Now that's tacked. We're gonna do the same thing in this corner right here. Kind of what your indicator is going to be is just making sure that you don't have all this like white bubbles. That typically is the indicator that you still have too much. So I'm gonna hold with one hand, and once I'm in place, I'm going and squeegee, and I progressively get a little bit more aggressive, and then now it holds right here, it's holding. And then of course the middle, it kind of sags a little bit, but I can move this in as well. And you can kind of flush all of this as well. Then we're going to move this in. Look at all that soap that I just kind of got rid of. Okay. Same thing that I did over there. I progressively kind of get a little bit more aggressive, right? I kind of just start with a little light squeegee just to kind of get it in place. And then I have very minor wrinkles right here. I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure everything is good right here. One thing I'll warn you is you don't want to be dragging the film. So just make sure that you have enough lubrication on the top layer as well. So now that we are in the middle, sorry, not in the middle, but on this side, I'm just gonna go ahead and start on this side. We're gonna make sure we spray on the top layer first, okay? And we're gonna bring this down, you see? Once you bring it down, it aligns in place, okay? There's a little tiny, like you're talking like a 3 mil, maybe, and we're gonna tack the middle down now. Right, so this is like the, right in the middle. You see I just spray just a little bit underneath, pull this down, and once I pull it down, tack it in place. Same thing, gradually get a little bit more stronger with your strokes. And now we got this middle done. All right, since I am here, remember where you tacked. We tacked this edge right here, right? And then we tacked the middle. So the next thing is you're just gonna go this way, and then you're splitting it down the middle. So go middle, out, middle, out. Right, middle, out. And as I kind of get here, I just kind of do all of that. And then when you get to this point, you want to go away from the edge because that's actually where you tacked earlier, okay? I'm not too worried about some of those fingers. The other thing is there's just a lot of water that sits there in that channel. So sometimes it's a little harder to get rid of some of that, right? So I got that side. We're gonna go ahead and start with here. Amazing. This whole section is not a problem at all. This is a pretty dark tint. This is 17%. The blue is actually a 70%. This is a 17, which means that 17% of light can actually go through. It's called VLT in the tint world. Okay. All right, since I'm on this side, we are going to do what we call a double take. And all it is you're gonna go definitely more aggressive. You're gonna go like 80 to 90% and put some of that body weight into your squeegee techniques. You always want to do a 50% overlap, okay? And when you do this, you wanna go all the way out, okay, all the way out. You see I'm going past the line because we're trying to squeegee everything out. And since I'm already here, I'm just gonna go ahead and spray down some of this edges as well. All right, so there's some bigger 50% overlap. Just be careful if you are in a ladder. I like going in that direction and so on. So you're gonna have some areas like here. You're gonna struggle to get some of the fingers down. You wrap your squeegee with the microfiber and you just kind of soak up that water. What's happening is a lot of water loves to sit right there, and because of that, it doesn't soak it up and it pops back up. This is another example right here, right? So now that's gone. So that's a trick that I recommend to get some of the more difficult edges. So we're gonna do the same thing right here. We got about 3 fingers right here, to being perfectly honest. Slow, hold, and that's it. Slow, squeegee, hold, let it soak. Same thing, let it soak. I can go ahead and do all the edges. Okay. Then we got one at the top right here, just a little bit. So just go ahead and do the same thing. Just make sure. All right, so now that all fingers are done, we're gonna go ahead and grab our microfiber, fold it. When you do this, guys, be careful around the edges. I actually don't get to the edge. And if you are, you gotta go out that way and don't come back because you're gonna grab the edge and then you could potentially do that. And when you do this, very, very little force because you're not trying to grab the film. It hasn't fully adhered yet, so it takes a little bit of time. And the cure time is probably about 24 hours. So just like tint, the glue needs to fully adhere to everything. So you're just gonna be lightly doing that. And that is how you install the roof tint on the Model 3 and other vehicles as well. Very, very similar. If you have any questions, let us know, and we'll see you later.